Welcome to our second episode of STEM for Girls by Girls in STEM. I'm your host, Serena Beri, and this episode is entitled Space Girls. This episode, we'll explore all the wonders of space and FLL and what it takes to become a champion FLL team. FLL stands for First Lego League, and this is a program sponsored by First that teaches kids how to innovate and explore creativity by creating robots and projects. In FLL, kids are challenged to create a robot that will compete in different missions under a specific set of time. They are also challenged to create a project that is centered around a certain theme. Through this, they're able to work as real-life scientists by finding a problem, creating a solution, developing an idea for the solution, and sharing their ideas. At the FLL competitions, the kids compete with their robot against other teams and also present their ideas to a panel of judges. This past year, the theme was Into Orbit. This theme explored space travel and living conditions in space. Today, I'm again joined with Legolicious, which is the champion team from Massachusetts. They did exceptional work this year with their theme and their project. Hello, girls.
Hello.
Hello. What was the theme this year and what did you learn?
This year's theme was space. So this year we learned all about space, specifically long duration space exploration, which means traveling in space in our solar system for more than a year.
And what project did your team create?
So our project was to help astronauts cut down on the trash in space. So we made like little food orbs.
They're created with two major components, calcium lactate and sodium alginate. You mix calcium lactate with whatever liquid or food that you want to put into the orb. We used applesauce for a lot of these. So you mix applesauce with the calcium lactate for the center, and then you mix sodium alginate with water for the outside part. And then you mix those two together, you get the little orb.
And what did the orbs taste like? Were they any good?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
They're
like
so good.
it's like a juice ball.
Like pops in your mouth, and it's really funny to watch people eat because they always have some sort of reaction.
Yeah.
Their faces always go.
And they can
It's
taste
really
like,
funny.
and they can taste like whatever we put in them. So like we put grape juice in them. There were grape juice ones. There were Tang ones. Like Emily said, there were applesauce ones. You could do anything that has just a little bit of liquid in it.
And how did this eliminate the amount of trash in space?
Because there's no packaging, because the whole orb is edible. So you could just like put a few, or like bring them up to space. We were planning on having like a machine in space that would, like in the spacecraft, that would make the orbs, so that astronauts could just like dispense them and eat them.
And how did you build your robot from start to finish?
Our current robot design, I believe, began with a design that we got online. We used instructions to build the overall base of the robot, and then from there we adjusted it to our needs.
And what did you guys learn about space? Any fun facts?
We learned about mainly since the project was dealing with the problems that are encountered in long space exploration. So we learned mainly as issues that were associated with our solution. We learned that the disposal of trash up in space is very difficult, and that typically you have to load up a small craft with their trash, but it's not just simply like that. You'd have to load it up so the center of mass is like on point, because if you just load it however, like the mass might be off, which might send the craft off target, and that it actually resulted, I think, in a crash or something. It wasn't I'm not sure how bad it was, but it wasn't, it didn't go as planned. So we're hoping to reduce the amount of trash so we don't have to encounter this problem.
And through learning more about space, have any of you considered future careers in space?
I think I'm too dead set on being a veterinarian at this point.
It's a hard career, definitely.
I like the comfort of Earth.
Yeah. What were some of the technical skills that you learned?
Well, this year we attempted to incorporate a sensor with our robot, so we had to work out a program that would actually accurately go to and stop at the angle that we want to have a robot reach. And I remember I discovered that apparently you cannot input decimals as a factor, because I remember I would do that and the robot would reach the point but never move. So I had to go and fix that. And we also found out that we had to calibrate it, or else it was the turns would be off center and just keep going or never get there.
And did you learn this through trial and error, or?
Mainly trial and error, yes.
How did your team work together to create a project and robot?
We usually work together. We do sessions of brainstorming. We'll all come up with ideas, and then when we're finding a project, we usually write them all up on a board, and then we will vote them off one by one, saying, do we want this one to carry on to next week, or do we not want it to carry on? And so eventually we'll just seed it down back to one idea that'll be our project for the year.
You learn a lot of core values through FLL, like gracious professionalism and cooperation. How do you demonstrate those when you're competing?
Just being friendly to everyone around you, just pretty much being a good sport, like shake hands, wish people good luck, just nice things to do.
Yeah, it's like if a team needs a part from you, you're just like, you gotta see if you can help them out or not, I guess.
What challenges did you face with creating your project or with creating your robot?
Time was mainly an issue, because it's always really hectic during the final stages of robot building, like the final week before states, because typically sometimes it would take us longer to start doing research or even to select idea for our project, and sometimes the robot wasn't up to scratch. We got a little bit delayed in the gyro, which kind of was tricky, and we were supposed to use a new form of our robot, which using wheels, so we would have more be able to go faster and have more mobility. But unfortunately, by the time we incorporated gyro, it was too late, because there was too much of a shift in the programs, and because we had to adjust for how many rotations this would go or the speed it would go, and it was too late, unfortunately.
And did you go through any variations of your project with the food capsules?
Our project pretty much stayed all about food capsules the entire time, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the variations, at first we were thinking just water capsules, but then we realized, oh no, we can expand it to be a lot more than just vitamin water. We can have different types of foods.
Has your team done any outreach?
Well, this is kind of considered as outreach. We've also in the past mentored a younger rookie team. They're older now. I believe they also changed their name from the Pink Woodchucks to the Programming Penguin? I'm not sure. But yeah, we mentored them in the past. We typically do, I guess, this year we also, we presented our project on the air on, I forget the station.
96.1 WSRS.
I should know that, because that was my line in the project all the time. I'm sorry. Yeah, so we presented that on the air, and we also have our own Instagram, I believe, and we post sometimes pictures and videos of what we've been doing.
We also went to the STEM fair at the McCarthy Middle School. We had our own stand, and we got to show middle schoolers at the McCarthy had to program just a simple thing on the robot, but most of them thought it was really cool, and that was fun. And we also met up with another team, the other winners who got to go to Worlds from Massachusetts. Something with wolves.
Brick wolves.
Brick wolves.
Brick wolves. Yeah, we met up with them.
Mm-hmm. And when you mentor other teams, do you teach them other technical skills? How do you mentor them?
A lot of them, we just let them ask what are their questions, what do they think they need to work on, and we'll let them ask their questions, and we'll help them learn from what we've learned.
Mm-hmm. So Emma, what's on your head right now?
I have on my head one of our crowns. Our attachments for our robot are called crowns because we like to put them on our heads. They slide over the robot and fit in with the gears. Gotta adjust it. And the way they slide on, like a hat, makes it so that they can get going with the next mission a lot faster than if you have to pull an arm on and off.
Yeah, in our earlier years, sometimes like the piece would come off or like not entirely, and that would cause it'd be kind of tricky to deal with. With this way, it can just slide on and it slides straight off. A lot easier.
So that was a problem that you had to innovate an idea to fix.
Yeah, we looked up other examples, and this was one that we really liked, so we kind of tailored it to how we wanted it, and yeah.
I believe it was actually our older brother team had a similar design.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't quite have crowns, but they would put the robot onto a base, and the base would have the attachments.
Yeah, instead of just like straightly attached.
And what were some of the missions that your crowns helped with?
So me and Eva programmed a mission where there's a ball in this space here, and this arm would lift up, releasing the ball to go into an area, and then there would be a ball here, and this flapper would hit it to roll into that area.
The flapper would also launch a tiny piece that, a previous mission that we had the gate that was, you had a gate that you had to cross, so we flattened the gate, but then we needed to cross it, but instead of taking the entire robot to cross it, we just flung a tiny piece that would cross it and do it for us.
We had a mission where we had to pick up a little space guy and bring him somewhere with an arm. We named him Gerharald.
I believe that's his actual
He had
name.
an actual name.
But like, it's not pronounced Gerharald. Is it
Gerard or
exactly?
Gerald?
But
Gerard.
we tried and we just flung him around everywhere. He had a fun year, but it was
Yeah.
kind of traumatizing for him.
Yeah.
We did all missions all around the board.
Yeah.
I think there was only 3 or so that we didn't complete.
So in total, how many missions did you end up doing?
Let me see. Escape velocity.
I think there was something I think there were 15 total, so that would mean like 12 or so.
13.
12 or 13 missions we did.
Yeah.
And how much time does your robot have to complete these missions?
Each round is 2.5 minutes, so we have to get all these missions done within that time.
Wow, that's a short amount of time.
It is.
Yeah, we did 12 missions. Actually, no, I think we attempted 13, but the 13th one, like, kind of didn't always work. I don't know, like, we at least attempted 13. There was varying degrees of success for each of them. Some of them were pretty solid, and some of them sometimes would get stuck.
Could you explain this robot?
So this was a robot that the 3 rookies built, Shyla, Eva, and I. This robot is pretty similar to the one that our team used, except this one has wheels. The wheels make it move faster than treads do. We used treads originally for stability, but then we thought if we used a gyro sensor, then the wheels might work.
So you were the younger members on the team, so how did you learn to build this robot?
We just kind of tried to do it on our own, just trying to get the feel of how to build a robot.
So how long does it take you to build your different crowns or build your robot?
I think the robot took us, a week to build, or maybe a couple weeks. I don't, the crowns.
The crowns all come from a base that fits around the outside of the robot.
Yeah.
And then from there we use the gearboxes to connect it to the motors on top of the robot, and then it depends on how long it takes us to figure out the mission, but it could take us anywhere from just one meeting to like 5 meetings to complete one mission by making an attachment on the crown plus programming.
Yeah, sure, because you may take like one meeting to like get the crown up and like start testing your idea, but then to completely fine tune it to like so it works every single time, it may take several meetings. Because I remember this arm, it's not attached right now, but it went through several prototypes. The first prototype was built from several pieces because we were down on pieces, so it's kind of like haphazardly put together. And I think we had a second prototype it was sturdier, and then the third one was lighter, and like tried to minimize stuff, make it stronger too.
So now the Legolicious team will be demonstrating their robot.
We have we have 5 missions that we or 5 main programs that we have to complete a series of missions. Each program sometimes typically holds at least 2 missions that we try to complete. This one we call Ball Shooter, and it launches 2 balls. One is located at the base, and that we loaded up here, and we let it go down this ramp over to the other side. And another ball is located on the field itself, so we have to go up to it, and we use this arm to launch it as well. And then there's a third mission that we complete, because previously there's this gate that we need to flatten and cross. We have flattened it, but we have not crossed it yet. So this also launches a small piece that acts as us, in a sense, and we are able to cross and complete that mission.
Great. Can you demonstrate it for us?
Yeah. We don't have the field, so this is just it moving at the very least. Also, we added that last motion at the end because sometimes after we ran it, the arms would lock up and they wouldn't let us move at all. So then when we tried to put another attachment on, it wouldn't let us.
So thank you, Legolicious, for joining us today. Stay tuned for the third episode of this show where we will talk about the Girls Engineering Handbook and how to build life-size robots.